Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm showing you how to make the perfect baked mac and cheese recipe. Like, just look at this mac and cheese. Oh my gosh, yummy. And we're going to be pairing it with some smothered fried chicken, the perfect meal. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by showing you how to make the baked mac and cheese first, but if you're preparing the baked mac and cheese with the smothered chicken, feel free to start by making the chicken first and then the mac and cheese, okay? Whatever you prefer. Alright, so in my frying pan, I'm gonna add a few tablespoons of butter. Now keep in mind, I already cooked the pasta I'm using for my baked mac and cheese. I'm using Elbows macaroni, so that's already being cooked. All right, so that's the first thing you want to prepare. Just cook it following the package directions. So in with the butter, I added a few cloves of minced garlic. Usually I add in about half of an onion diced, but somehow I ran out of onions today, so we gonna do without it. So if you guys want, you could add that as well. And I let my garlic cook for about 1 minute just so that it can start to release this aroma. You don't want to burn the garlic, okay? And then I'm gonna add in a few tablespoons of flour. So we're gonna make a roux. But to make my roux for this mac and cheese, I like to do for 3 tablespoons of butter, because I added 3 tablespoons of butter. I add in 2 tablespoons of flour. Usually when you're making roux, they like to say do equal amounts of butter and flour, but I find this ratio works way better for me, so you guys can give it a try and see, okay? And we're gonna cook that flour for about 2 minutes so that it can cook out a little bit, and it's gonna turn a blondish color. Once it turns that color, you're gonna add in some heavy cream. Be sure to use heavy cream and not half and half, you guys. If you want the mac and cheese to come out the way this one did and look cheesy and stringy and delicious, use heavy cream. Is going to make it extra creamy. All right, and I added my heavy cream. Then you want to get a whisk and whisk all of those ingredients together. So you're going to whisk the heavy cream and the flour together until it's well combined and blended. So I have my stove on medium heat. You don't want to have it too high, so put it on medium to medium low heat, okay? So these are the cheese that I'm gonna be using for my baked mac and cheese: pepper jack, extra sharp cheddar, regular sharp cheddar, and mozzarella cheese. Also, you want to freshly grate your cheese. It's gonna come out way than already pre-shredded cheese. But you guys, freshly grate your cheese and you'll see the difference in your mac and cheese. It's out of this world, okay? So freshly grate your cheese. You can use a food processor to grate it if you'd like. That's totally fine. And I'm gonna start adding in my cheese into my heavy cream, okay? Also, after I grate all of the cheese, I mix them together really well so that they're like blended together. All right, and I'm gonna start adding it into my sauce. Also, don't forget to reserve about 1 to 2 cups of the shredded cheese for on top of the mac and cheese, okay? So reserve that, and then you're gonna add the cheese into the sauce. If all of the cheese does not fit into your sauce, you can leave some back and then just add it straight into the cooked macaroni, okay? Because you don't want your cheese sauce to be too thick. You want it to be somewhat loose but not runny. So add in the cheese and use the pot spoon to mix it into the sauce until all of the cheese has melted. Just keep stirring it until it's well blended and melted, okay? Okay, so here's my cooked Elbows macaroni. So I'm gonna season it a little bit with onion powder, garlic powder, and black pepper. Sometimes I add a little bit of salt, but I like to wait until after I add the cheese sauce and all of my cheese, because you know the cheese have salt in it and I don't want to over salt my mac and cheese. So after I add everything in it, I'll taste it. I'm also adding in a few tablespoons of sour cream, and I'm gonna mix that in, making sure the pasta is fully coated with the sour cream. Okay, so make sure you mix it really well until it's well blended. So next I'm going to start adding in the cheese sauce, and I'm just going to mix it with the pasta really well. So next you're going to see me add in an extra handful of mozzarella cheese, because I just want a little extra of that mozzarella cheese in my mac and cheese to give me the perfect texture of what I'm looking for. Okay, so the measurements for this part is basically 1 handful, and you're gonna mix that into your mac and cheese. Okay, so this was not from the 1 block of the mozzarella cheese we grated. This was extra. All right, you guys. So once everything is well combined and your mac and cheese is creamy, cheesy, and well mixed, you're gonna get your casserole dish or your baking dish, spray it with some nonstick cooking spray, preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, and you're gonna pour the mac and cheese into your casserole dish. Once you do that, you're gonna top it with the 1 to 2 cups of reserved cheese that I told you to set aside for on top of the mac and cheese. All right, so you're just gonna sprinkle that all over on top. Lastly, I'm gonna sprinkle the top with some freshly chopped parsley just for garnishing effects. It makes it look really pretty, and I'm gonna put it into the oven to bake at 375 for about 15 minutes. So you guys, you do not want to bake the mac and cheese for long unless that's your preference, but I had a specific type of mac and cheese consistency that I wanted for this recipe, and it came out perfect. Okay, I didn't really want the top too golden brown, so I only left it for about 15 minutes. All you're looking for basically is for all the ingredients in the mac and cheese to blend well together, kind of for the cheese to melt and everything to become ooey gooey and well blended. All right, so 15 minutes. Once the top gets slightly golden brown, the cheese has melted, you're gonna take it out of the oven. All right, and you'll have this consistency right here. So cheesy, extra creamy. Like, do you guys see this? Oh my god, it tastes just as good as it looks, I promise you. And it's stringy, cheesy, and just delicious. So, oh, one thing I forgot to mention for the Monterey Jack cheese, I usually use Monterey Jack, but I had pepper jack at hand, so I decided to use that. But as you can see on the label of the cheese I was using, it says pepper jack cheese is basically Monterey Jack cheese with jalapenos in it, and it tastes amazing. All right, so you can use pepper jack or Monterey Jack cheese, or use your favorite blend of cheese. Try my recipe, and I promise you, you'll have amazing mac and cheese. So yeah, you guys, that's basically it. Do not bake the mac and cheese for long. 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. Don't let it cook too much. And yeah, unless that's your preference, unless you know, because I know some people like the top golden brown. I do too, but it depends on what I'm looking for. All right, like, I mean, just look at the pull of this mac and cheese. But that's enough on how to make my baked mac and cheese. Now let's get into the smothered chicken. Southern style smothered fried chicken. So I'm using chicken drumsticks. You can also use chicken thighs or whatever part of the chicken you prefer to use. So I'm starting by seasoning it with a mixture of onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, ground cumin, and paprika powder. And I'm just gonna rub all of that seasoning into each piece of the chicken. So in a bowl I have some flour, and I'm adding some of those same seasonings in the flour. This is what I'm going to use to dredge the chicken, and then we're going to pan fry it a little bit. So I mix the seasonings into the flour, and then the chicken, I'm going to cover it and let it marinate in the refrigerator for 1 hour. Alright? After the chicken has marinated, you're going to take it and you're going to coat the chicken in the flour mixture we made. Make sure the chicken is fully coated in the flour. Alright? And then you're going to get a frying pan and place it over medium-high heat. Okay, so I add just a little bit of oil in my pot, and I'm using a cast iron skillet because we're only going to pan sear the chicken until it gets nice and golden brown on all sides, and then we're going to place it into the oven to finish cooking. All right, if you don't have a cast iron skillet, use a regular frying pan and then just transfer the chicken into a baking dish. All right, so I added some oil, not a lot of oil, just a little bit to coat the bottom of the pan, because we're not fully cooking the chicken here. All right, we just want it to get a nice golden brown sear all over. And yeah, once it sears on one side, you're going to flip it to the other side and just keep it doing that until each piece of your coated chicken is nice and golden brown and crispy. So once the chicken has a nice brown color, I'm going to remove it and place it on a plate and set it aside. And using that same pot that I cooked the chicken in, all right, don't remove anything, leave the oil just as it is. I'm gonna add in some sliced onions and some sliced green bell peppers. Mix that really well and let the veggies cook for about 3 minutes. I also added in a tablespoon of butter, and yeah, let that cook for about 3 minutes so that the veggie can start to soften a little. I also added in a few sprigs of fresh thyme leaves. I just scraped it off the stem. Then next I'm going to mix in a few tablespoons of flour and mix that in with the veggies in the pot really well and let that cook for about 2 minutes so the flour can cook a little. Then I'm going to add in some chicken stock. Give the pot a good stir to mix everything until it's well combined together. Okay, trying to mix that flour mixture and the chicken stock until it's well blended. Then you can taste the sauce and see if you need to adjust to your seasoning. So I tasted mine and I decided to add in a little bit of onion and garlic powder and a little bit of black pepper. You could taste it and see if you need salt as well. Just be careful with salt because the chicken broth has salt in it. Alright, okay guys, so the last thing I'm gonna mix in is some heavy cream to make the sauce nice and creamy and a little bit more thick. So I'm gonna add that in, and then I'm gonna start back by adding in the pieces of pan seared chicken. All right, so add back your pieces of chicken into the sauce, and then you're gonna take this, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, and you could baste the top of the chicken with some of that sauce and then place it into the oven to finish cooking, okay, at 400 degrees for 1 hour. Halfway through this being cooked, I take it out and I just baste the top of my chicken with some more with the gravy in the pan. Okay, also if the liquid starts to go dry down on you, you could add in a little bit more chicken broth or water. Mix in a little bit of water, not a lot, about 1/4 of a cup to half a cup. And yeah, after about 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes, your chicken should be fully cooked and looking something like this. Look at that, it looks perfectly smothered and just delicious, yummy. Look at that gravy. So I like to finish it off and sprinkle it with some fresh parsley that I chopped up. Just sprinkle it on top, and now dinner is ready, you guys. Serve this with the baked mac and cheese. This pairs really well with some rice as well. Make sure when you put the chicken in the oven to bake it uncovered, okay, for the full hour. This is the perfect meal. Serve this on Sunday for Sunday dinner. Like, your loved ones is gonna praise you if you cook this for them. This is love on a plate, love in a pot. So yeah, you guys, give this recipe a try. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. You guys don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see my upcoming videos. I really appreciate it. Appreciate all your support, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye.